Okay. As a board member, we haven't done our appointment of officers or oath for our new board member, Camille. So as a board member, we're going to appoint clerk pro tem. And be it resolved, the Board of Education appoints Lisa M. Cerniglia as clerk pro tem to preside until the election and seating of the president. It's all yours, Lisa.
Okay.
Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Mike, motion second by Ed.
Okay.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Great. I'd like to call the meeting to order on Monday, July 2nd at 9 a.m. If we can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. I would like to introduce our new board member, Camille Adoma. And Camille, if you would be able to stand, please, and raise your right hand, and you can repeat after me.
Okay.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the States of New York,
and the constitutions of the State of New York.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
I will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
as board member for the Highland Central School District Board of Education,
as board member of the Highland Central School Board of Education,
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Okay, thank you. And I'll have you sign this. Congratulations and welcome. Alrighty, I would also like to welcome again Ed Mizell, who has been reelected as board member. Ed, if you could please raise your right hand for the oath of office. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
as board member for the Highland Central School District Board of Education,
as board member for the Highland Central School District Board of Education,
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
All right, thank you again, Ed. Congratulations. Okay, Mike Axios, who has been reelected. Thank you. I ask you to raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the States of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
as board member for the Highland Central School District Board of Education,
as board member of the Highland Central School District Board of Education,
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Thank you, Mike, and congratulations. Okay. Okay, at this point, I would like to call for nominations from the board for office of president for the Board of Education. The floor is now open for nominations.
I'd like to nominate Al Barone.
Okay,
Second nomination.
and that is second from Ed Mizell. Are there any other nominations? Okay, all in favor for Alan Barone?
Aye.
Okay, congratulations, Alan, as being reelected as the board. And I'm going to get your oath as soon as we're done with one other, okay? I would like to open the floor at this point for vice presidents for the Highland Central School District Board of Education. The floor is now open.
I'd like to nominate Tom Miller for Vice President of the school board.
Okay,
I'll second that motion.
okay, that's second from Alan Barone. Are there any other nominations? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, congratulations, Tom Miller, as board vice president. And then at this point, I would just like to ask Alan to stand. Repeat after me, please. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the States of New York,
and the Constitution of the States of New York.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
I will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
as board president for the Highland Central School District Board of Education,
as board president for the Highland Central School District Board of Education,
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my ability.
All right, thank you, Alan. Tom Miller, raise your right hand, please. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the States of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my board
and will discharge the duties of my board
as board vice president for the Highland Central School District Board of
as
Education,
Vice President for the Highland Central School District Board of Education,
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Okay, congratulations, Tom. Thank you. Okay, at this point, I'm going to have Alan Barone, board president, take over the meeting.
Excellent job.
Thank you, Lisa. I'd like to thank the rest of the board for having the faith in me as your president for another school year. I think this board has worked well, and I know with Camille as a new board member, we'll fill the shoes of Deputy Planner quite well, and we'll move forward. So, thank you, everyone. Okay, this is our reorg meeting for 2018, and we'll try to go through this as quickly as possible. I believe the local paper would like to do a quick photo of the board. She can't stay for the entire meeting.
Can we do it right now?
Yes.
Okay, the simplest thing to do, guys, is to push your chairs back and you stand up here against the table, and then you guys come around it. So it's kind of a side picture. Just make sure everybody can see me.
Yep, just in a line. Yeah, I got it.
Good, right, if you face forward, it's a little, you can get a little tighter. Please go back a little bit. There we go. Okay. Don't look too serious. One more. Last one. Good. It'd be nice if we had a few little smiles, please. It's so painful, I know. But one without flash, please. 2, 3. Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kurt McKinney used to do that. Okay, appointment of district officers, be resolved, the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent of schools, approve the following district officer appointments. District clerk, Lisa M. Cerniglia. District treasurer, Tara Van Amberg. School tax collector, Thomas Bon Jovi. Claims auditor, Jill Greenland. And deputy treasurer, Kathleen Valentino. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Ed, second by Tom. Discussion?
So I'm just being appointed tax collector, including a permanent person in the business official's position. Okay, just want to be sure, make sure we get those taxes.
Will you actually be going door to door?
I will start doing that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Other appointments, be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent of the schools, approves the following appointments. Our school physician, Health Quest, our school attorney, to be determined, internal auditor, Bonadeo Group, external auditor, Ray Cruiser, records assess officer, Sarah Dudley Lemick, asbestos designee, Dr. Michael O'Rourke, purchasing agent, Thomas Bon Jovi, central treasurer for extracurricular activity accounts, Jill Greenland, Title 7 and 9 compliant officers, Sarah Dudley Lemick and Patrick Boyd, 403B third-party administrator, Omni, financial software system administrator, and Tara Van Amberg, alternate financial software system administrator, Thomas Bon Jovi. Our 504 compliant officer, Patrick Boyd. Our attendance officer, Patrick Boyd. Our residency officer, Patrick Boyd. McKinney Vento liaison, Elizabeth Salanitri. Student activity faculty claims auditor, to be determined. And our Medicaid renewal contract management advisory group, business operations, Inc. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Tom, second by Mike. Discussion?
So again, in the regular meeting, we will talk about the external attorneys. So right now, it is to be determined. As of right now, if you recall at the last meeting, I was made purchasing agent, so I'll remain purchasing agent. We have, again, some things to be determined. So once that new person is officially, even temporarily the purchasing agent, then I will give up that title. But for now, I'm the purchasing agent.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Designations, recommend the board designates the following banks as depositories for the 2018-19 school year. M&T Bank, JP Morgan Chase, Citizens Bank, New York Liquid Asset Fund, TD Bank North, and Bank of America. We're going to do, I'll read these through, and then we'll do one resolution to accept them. Recommend the board designates the following dates for the regular Board of Education meetings at the time indicated below, which will be held in the boardroom E32 at the high school. Changes or modifications to this schedule will be announced by the clerk prior to the scheduled meeting date. We have our reorg July 2nd. August meetings are August 7th and 28th. September meetings are September 11th and September 18th. October 2nd, October 16th, November 13th, December 4th, January 15th, February 12th, March 5th, and March 19th, April 2nd, April 24th, May 7th, May 21st, and June 11th. We recommend the board designates as the district's official newspaper, the Poughkeepsie Journal. District announcements may be also printed in the following newspapers: the Times Community Newspaper, the Hudson Valley. Recommend the Board of Education president as the board members having the authority to appoint an impartial hearing officer on behalf of the entire Board of Education. I'll entertain a motion to accept these recommendations. Have a motion, please. Motion by Mike, second by Ed. Discussion?
So the only discussion was that we had a board member request that on August 28th, the meeting be at 6 p.m. So, and I had responded to that, that's fine. So we'll move it from 5 to 6 for August 28th. Everything else can stay the same.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Authorization, certified payroll. I'll read through all these, and then we'll do a motion to accept. Certified payrolls, recommended the board authorizes the superintendent to certify payrolls and the business administrator to serve in his absence. Conferences, conventions, and workshops. Recommend that the superintendent of schools take action on administrative and teacher requests to attend conferences, conventions, and workshops within the limit of the 2018-19 school budget appropriation. Petty cash. Recommend the board establishes petty cash funds in the amount specified and designate respective custodians for each fund for the 2018-19 school year as follows. Senior high school, $100 is the main high school main office. Denise Santiangelo. Middle school, $100, middle school main office. Jeannie Valentino. Elementary school, $100, elementary school main office. Denise Fossey. Transportation and O&M, Sharon Tamburi. Food services, Marianne Lustagli. Signatures. Recommend the board designates Kathleen Valentino, deputy treasurer, and Thomas Bon Jovi, superintendent, as authorized signatories on checks and withdrawals as necessary from the following accounts. One signature is required. Our mutual fund account, special aid programs fund, our capital fund debt service payroll account, and our tax collection checking school fund, or food services fund. Designates chief faculty advisors, extracurricular activity fund. Recommend the board designates the chief faculty advisors as entire building level principals. Extracurricular activity fund central treasurer, Bill Greenland. Bill Greenland will be authorized signatory on checks and withdrawals as necessary from the extracurricular activity funds for the high school and middle school. One signature is required. Unencumbered funds. Recommend the board authorizes superintendent of schools or his designee to transfer unencumbered funds within the functional levels, for example, purchasing, instruction, and transportation of the budget as required with board approval. Authority is also given to transfer up to $10,000 between functional levels of the budget, except in the case of emergencies, in which case the superintendent will notify the board at the next board meeting. Anticipation notes. Recommend the Board of Education of the Highland Central School District as follows. Section 1. Subject to the provisions of the local finance law, the power to authorize the issuance of and to sell from time to time revenue anticipation notes of Highland Central School District, Ulster County, New York, including renewals thereof, in anticipation of the receipt of statement becoming due during any fiscal year of said school district is hereby delegated to the President of the Board of Education and Chief Fiscal Officers. Such notes shall be of such terms, form, and content, and shall be sold in such manner as may be determined by said President of the Board of Education. Pursuant to the local finance law, the amount revenue anticipation note not to exceed $2.5 million. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect immediately. Grants. Recommend the superintendent or his designee is authorized to apply for grants in state aid, state and federal, and also independent grants. CSE and CPSE meetings. Recommend the board authorizes the superintendent of schools and or the board president to execute all contracts, agreements to provide services for students with special needs, inclusive of CSE, CPSE students, as recommended by the Committee on CSE, CPSE. In the case of emergencies, the superintendent has the power to execute contracts, agreements in the event the CSE, CPSE cannot convene. Our cooperative bidding blanket, whereas it is desired the participants, we'll hold that one, that's a separate resolution. Okay, going back on authorization from A through J.
A through I. Through I.
Through I, I'm sorry, through I. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Ed, second by Camille. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So carried. Cooperative bidding blanket. Whereas it is desired that participating school districts, the Board of Education, of Cooperative Educational Services, Ulster County, adopting this resolution to jointly request bids for certain commodities be determined by the superintendent of this school district from time to time for the 2018-19 school year. Now therefore be it resolved that the Highland Central School District hereby agrees to participate with other school districts of the Board of Cooperative Educational Services, Ulster County, New York, in the joint bidding of commodities to be requested by the school district purchasing agent and approved by the superintendent And be it further resolved that the specifications as prepared by the steering committee of the participating school districts and presented to this Board of Education will be used, and that this board, if it desires to purchase these commodities, agrees to purchase said commodities at the lowest bid price recommended by the steering committee of the joint school districts. Provided, however, that each participating Board of Education in exercising its legal responsibilities has the right to reject and or modify the recommendation of the steering committee in awarding of the bid, and be it further resolved that the invitation to bid will be advertised by BOCES in the Kingston Daily Freedman, the Middletown Record, and the Poughkeepsie Journal in accordance with the provisions of Section 103 of the General Municipal Law. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Camille, second by Ed. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So carried. Ulster Orange Health Insurance. Whereas in accordance with the Orange Ulster School District's Health Plan Municipal Cooperation Agreement, the Ulster Orange School District's health plan, the plan, shall be governed and managed by Board of Directors, and whereas the Board has determined that in accordance with the above-mentioned municipal cooperation agreement, the plan allows for each school district or BOCES that participates in the plan to appoint a representative to act on behalf of the school district or BOCES. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent of the schools of the Highland Central School District, appoints Thomas Bon Jovi to serve as a representative to the plan for the period of 1 year, commencing on July 1, 2018, and ending on June 30th, 2019. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Mike, second by Camille. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Official undertakings, recommend the board authorizes provision of employee dishonesty insurance coverage in the amount indicated. All employees, $100,000. Our district treasurer, our district tax collector, our claims auditor, our deputy claims auditor, and deputy treasurer, all $1 million. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Tom, second by Ed. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Other items, policy manual. Be it resolved that the Board of Education readopts all policies in the Highland Central School District Policy Manual in effect as of June 30th, 2018 at its July 2nd, 2018 reorg meeting. We'll do a separate motion on that. Can I have a motion to accept, please? Motion by Camille, second by Mike. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Our mileage reimbursement. Recommend the board establishes the mileage reimbursement rate at the approved IRS rate. Have a motion, please. Motion by Tom, second by Camille. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So carried. Subcommittee and liaisons. Recommend the establishment of standing board subcommittees and liaisons as follows for the 2018-19 school year. Our finance committee currently for the 2017-18 school year Finance Committee, Audit Committee, myself, Deb Pagano, and Heather Welch. I believe Heather would like to remain on. I'll also remain on that committee. Is there anyone else that would like to fill Deb Pagano's spot on the Finance Audit Committee?
Did Sue express interest in, do you know if Sue expressed interest?
She hadn't, but I think we could put her on there, maybe take her off.
And she's not here. Disadvantage. Yeah.
Well,
True. Well,
Good thinking, Mike.
we can
She's not
appoint
assistant.
and we can appoint her but not approve her name, but we can do it.
Was that?
I think you.
Yeah.
We have to actually Heather and Sue are not here, but. So right now, we'll approve myself on that, and Heather and Sue at our next, board meeting. Board Services Committee, currently, or for the past year, myself, Ed, and Tom. All three like to remain on. Does anyone else like an interest in the Support Service Committee? Okay, so the three of us.
I'm sorry, Who
Negotiations.
was that for audit?
Excuse
I'm
me.
sorry, who was that for the audit?
So we skipped over audit.
Oh, support.
That's a combination.
Oh, that's
Would be-
okay.
Would be the same.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, we listed separate, but last year it was the same
Okay.
group, did
Okay.
both
Great.
finance and audit.
Great.
Negotiations, if required, HTA was Sue Gilmore, Deb Pagano, and Heather. Anyone want to fill Deb Pagano's spot on Camille? HSA, myself, Sue, and Mike. I believe the three of us will remain on.
Excuse me, Alan, do you mind just saying out loud again, who was on the support service committee and then the HTA and the HSA?
HSA.
Mhm.
Support service was myself, Ed, and Tom.
Okay,
HTA was Sue, Camille, and Heather. HSA, myself, Sue, and Mike.
okay.
And we're on HAA. Sue Gilmore, Tom Miller, and Deb Pagano. Tom, you'd like to remain on that? And who would like to fill Deb Pagano?
I'll take that spot.
Mike? Strategic Planning Committee, I believe that's the entire board last year, and that'll remain as the entire board. Board liaisons, Ulster County School Boards Association Legislative Liaison, that was Sue Gilmore, I'm sure she'll remain on that. Our CSE, CPSE liaison was Tom Miller and Deb Pagano. Ed, if you'll take Deb's spot. Tom, you'll remain on? Okay. Our PTA liaison was Mike and Ed. You good to remain on that? Give any-
Camille wants to.
Camille, is that something
Yeah,
you're interested
I'll
in,
jump on it.
PTAs?
I'll jump on it.
Do they add a third to that?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
That'd be fine,
You
yeah.
can add a
There were
third.
times I
We'll
was
carry some ground.
So that'd be Mike Bakaxias, Ed Mizell, and Camille?
And Camille, correct.
tired.
And our CDEP, we don't have that
No,
this
we don't
go
have that.
around, okay? And we're good.
That should be removed, actually.
Right, yes.
From reorg agendas, unless there's something.
You know, yeah,
qualifying.
We did move,
We
yeah.
removed it from this year.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept our subcommittees and liaisons? Motion by Mike, second by Ed. Discussion?
Just want to thank the board members for volunteering for these committees. I think the good news is that we've settled all of our contracts, so other than some MOAs, theoretically, should be an easy committee to be on. Good news.
Good news and good work.
Yes.
Good, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Be resolved, the Board of Education readopts the Audit Committee Charter in effect at its July 2nd, 2018 reorg meeting. You've gotten that attachment. Audit Committee Charter. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Mike, second by Camille. Discussion?
I'm sure that just suits for the framework, the operational framework for the audit committee.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Committee on Special Education, recommend the following individuals to serve on the Committee on Special Education for the 2018-19 school year. Our chairperson is Sarah Moore, Lisa Neer, Dr. Michael Path, Patrick Boyd. Our psychologist members, Dr. Michael Path, Lisa Neer, Sarah Moore. Our teacher members, generic approvals of all teachers, speech therapists, guidance counselors, social workers, OTs and PTs, and our physicians, health class. Okay, we'll run through these and then do a blanket approval. Committee on Preschool Special Education, recommend the following individuals to serve on the Committee on Preschool Special Education for the 2018-19 school year. Chairperson Sarah Moore, Lisa Neer, Dr. Michael Path, Patrick Boyd. Our county representative, county appointed preschool coordinator, representatives of evaluative agencies, generic approval of all preschool agencies, evaluator agency staff. Our impartial hearing officers, recommend the board approve the following individuals to be used as impartial hearing officers on a rotational basis as needed during the 2018-19 school year. And I'm not going to
You
read
don't
all
need to
those
read all
unless Superintendent would like to read them.
No, I think.
Photocopying fee. Recommend the board establishes the fee for photocopying of the district records at 25 cents per page. Non-instructional substitute rate. Recommend the board establishes a non-instructional substitute rate at step 1 of the appropriate salary schedule HSA contract. Recommend the board allows a non-instructional HSA substitute to be placed on the appropriate salary schedule based on individual experience. Individual instructional substitute rate, recommend the board establishes the instructional substitute rate at $85 per day for uncertified individuals and $115 per day for certified individuals. Our school lunch prices, recommend the board adopts the school lunch prices for the 2018-19 school year. School lunch at elementary school, $2.80. School lunch at middle school, $3.05. School lunch at the high school, $3.05. Our school breakfast, $1.80. Our student milk, 60 cents. Adult lunches to be determined, and our reduced lunch at 25 cents. Recommend for building use rates, the board adopts the following use rates for the 2018-19 school year. Weekday rate, custodian's normal work week. Up to 2 hours, classroom is $25, the field are $25, cafeteria is $45, the gym is $45, and the auditorium is $45 per use. Up to 3 hours, $35 for the classroom, $35 for the field, $65 for cafeteria, $65 for the gym, and $65 for the auditorium per use. Our Saturday rate, custodial overtime, classroom $50 per hour, field $50, cafeteria $50, gym $50, auditorium $50, all per hour. Our Sunday holiday rate, classroom $65, field $65, cafeteria $65, gym $65, auditorium $65, all per hour. Note that the school district reserves the right to set rates and fees above or below the stated schedule depending upon the estimated amount of cost the district shall incur to staff the event. Our keymaster and chairmaster for annual and special meetings, recommend the board establishes the rate of $200 per day based on a 16-hour day for keymaster and chairmaster for the annual meeting vote, and if required, special meeting vote. And our scorekeeper, recommend the board establishes the rate for scorekeeper as follows. Scorekeeper includes setup and takedown, $45. The time clock rates are $45 for one game, $67.50 for 2 games. Our shot clock rate, $22.50 for one game, and $45 for 2 games. Can I have a motion to accept everything from D through M? Motion by Mike. Second by Camille. Discussion?
just for the public and for the board. So on H and I, the non-instructional subrate and the instructional subrates, so they were raised about a year ago, and they are competitive with our neighboring districts. Also, the school lunch prices, that's up 5 cents from last year.
Okay, anyone have any other questions or concerns? All right, motion to accept.
Mike and Camille.
Mike and Camille, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. That concludes our reorg meeting. Ready to go right into our open meeting?
Excellent job, Mr. President. A lot of reading. I know I'm a little asleep. Thank you.
Very well. Okay, we'll go right into our regular meeting. Today's Tuesday, July 2nd, 2018. I'll open the meeting up to public comment. And just for everyone and those in the audience, our public comment on the front end is normally for agenda items only. And on the back end, you can discuss openly anything you would like to regarding the operation of this district. Okay, acceptance of reports. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, approves and acknowledges reviewing the following reports. Our Treasurer's Report, May 2018. Our General Fund, our Treasurer's Report, General Fund, May 2018. Our School Lunch Fund, our Special Aid Fund, and our Capital Fund. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Tom, second by Ed. Discussion?
They were there.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Under personnel. Anyone have any issues taking personnel as a block? If you have an objection, then we'll handle that one separate. So if there's a letter of appointments, let me know, we'll handle that one separate. So is everyone fine moving forward as a block from A through I? And we do have some recognitions.
Yes.
This morning.
Recommended food here.
Okay,
I don't have an objection, I'll just have a comment and a question under the discussion.
that's fine. Okay, can I have a motion to accept our personnel as a block?
Motion.
Motion by Mike, second by Ed.
So, I see some bus drivers are retiring, and I'm just curious, are they also interested in substituting for us beyond? Or has that discussion not taken place? I know we were strapped for substitute bus drivers.
So the good news is that this year, we started advertising on Craigslist for drivers, and then we moved the sign
Yeah, it's a 9W.
9W. So we absolutely have had an increase in hires. We are training 2 people right now. You know, we've hired a few new drivers. I don't think these people who are retiring are interested in subbing, but I know that we definitely have a very nice increase in both substitutes and in new drivers.
All right, so we're feeling more confident in that
We
area
are
than we have
feeling
in the
more
past.
confident, and we have,
Outstanding.
of course, Kathy McCulloch, our new director, is doing a fantastic job working with the team over there.
The other is, of course, accepting Kathy Bruner's retirement with regret and well wishes to her.
If I'd like to mention also, just by Kathy Bruner, so it's always nice when you can, for lack of a better term, go out on your own terms. You know, Kathy was, you know, like many of our employees, but she really was a standout. You know, if you know anything about Kathy, I mean, she was here before most people arrived. And even though she knew she was retiring on the last day of school, I mean, literally until that last day of school, she was here until 5, 6 o'clock every night. You never would have known that she was retiring. So, you know, great for her. We wish her, you know, certainly the very best of luck and thank her for her years of dedication to the students of Highland School.
And her dress at graduation, fantastic. What a way to go.
Yeah. And I'll wait for the appointments officially to recognize we have 2 people here. We're hiring the other people just because of vacation plans.
Sure.
And/or the time of day, they weren't able to make it.
Fair enough.
Hopefully they will at future meetings.
Yes,
Approve the decision.
sure.
And again, to piggyback, what Mike said, you know, congratulations to our retirees, and we wish them success in their retirement, in their future years. And also for our appointments for teachers and support staff, we have a large list here. Congratulations to those individuals. We wish them luck here in the Highland Central School District. I know we have intra-business administrator that we're going to appoint. We're going to appoint our school business manager this morning. And we also are going to appoint some vacancies in our coaching staff. We're going to fill those. So it's a large list. Like the superintendent mentioned, some are here this morning, some cannot make it, but we congratulate them all. So with that being said, any other discussion?
I just have one more comment. So yes, on the business administrator, so we are hiring Lisa Gillette. Lisa's coming to us from, she's currently the school business manager at Saugerties. Now she can't start because of contractual obligations, so she's not going to start until October 1st. Okay. Now, there's a familiar name for some of the board members and or members of the public out there. So we were lucky enough to get Don Gottlieb. Don has been here, this will actually be his 4th time coming to Highland, just to an interim. He has vast experience in this position. He will start tomorrow. I mean, that's the kind of person he is. I just met with him on Friday and he said, I'll start Tuesday.
Yeah, he's always been here when we needed him.
He's fantastic, coming to the rescue. So Don will do up to 3 days a week as needed. And he is confident, I'm confident that that will be fine to keep us kind of in place until Lisa can take over. So welcome to Lisa and welcome back to Don.
Okay, anyone else? We have a motion by Mike, second by Ed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Mr. President, I'd just like to take a moment. First, Samantha Valentino is here. Samantha's taking position as a TA at the middle school, replacing Margot Bloom's retirement. Samantha's done a fantastic job. She's been with us, subbing for quite a while and coaching. So Samantha, congratulations on this permanent position.
Thank you.
We also have Holly Schindler here. So Holly is an elementary teacher. She is replacing Mary Chris Nelson's retirement, and we welcome her to the Highland Central School District family.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, and congratulations to our new appointee. Under business and operations, we have anything?
We're operating, believe me. It's all business.
As usual.
Business.
That
as
leaves
usual.
in tomorrow, that's
Yes.
the report there, right?
System superintendent. Sarah?
Just a couple of things. I attached to the agenda is the summer curriculum work that's going to be done. This summer, I just wanted to go through it very briefly, so you have an idea of the direction that we're going. The majority of the work is really focused on our LAP plan and continuing to do the work to improve our students' learning throughout the year. We're reintroducing our summer academy at the elementary school. We're titling it 2 Weeks of Wonder. This is being run by Mark Chiadieri, who is doing his administrative internship. So this is kind of his first foray into administration. But we really remodeled it into an inquiry-based model of learning. So the students, we have, I believe it's 65 students who are participating this summer. Instead of separating them out by strict grades like we did before, we separated them out by reading levels. So you have several reading levels together, but not necessarily all kindergartners or all first graders. And every teacher in the program will see each student every day. So the students are actually going to be moving from station to station. We have one pair of teachers who are the ELA group. There's another group that is math. There's another group that is science, science-based. There's a group where the foundation of this is a study of the world around us, of nature in the Hudson Valley. And so they're doing nature walks daily. We're also integrating our ENL program, summer program, which we have to do. In the past, we ran that as kind of a separate classroom and separate program. This year, we're integrating all the ENL students into the entire program. So our ENL teacher will be pushing in to classes and working with students in those classes. We have a couple of special education teachers that will also be rotating through the stations to work. It's much more of an immersion type program. And again, every teacher will work with every student throughout the day. We have 2 TAs who are going to support as well. So we're very excited. We did a lot of work this year in really looking at students' reading levels as well as their math, either their 3 through 8 assessments or their benchmark assessments, to identify the students rather than doing it simply by teacher recommendation. We really were very data-based in how we pull the students out. There's a good mix of special education as well as general ed students, with the idea that it's only 2 weeks, so we're not expecting them to jump a ton in their reading level, but to keep them engaged in learning and excited about being at school, especially in the summertime. So we're very excited about this new program and the new direction for it. We also have a good mix of elementary as well as middle school teachers who will be involved. So I think that will have payoff next year, because our middle school teachers will have a better understanding of what some of the expectations and abilities of our students are at the elementary school. So very excited about that, and we're doing it in the middle of the summer, July 23rd through August 3rd. So to try to prevent that summer slump that can happen. At the high school, Patrick could probably talk to this a little bit better, but our transition program at the high school for our students who are, ultimately moving out of high school, but we want to do it within and help them learn skills, get out in the world a little bit more. Shannon Ramirez is actually taking a whole course to become a transition counselor. So she'll be doing some work to revamp our instructional skills program. AIS reading at the elementary school, we have some movement with that half position that was supported through the budget. One of our elementary AIS reading teachers is actually moving up to the half-time position at the middle school and the new half-time position at the high school. So she will be doing some work to get a program in place at the high school, since we didn't have one before. She'll be doing that work. And then our 3 AIS reading teachers at the elementary school are going to be meeting to really look closely at that program, and again, reorganize that a little bit from what we had seen before, and align it more closely with the Teachers College work. We're very excited about what that can look like going into September. Same thing with our Teachers College that I've been speaking with all year. Our self-contained teachers have had questions about how do we maintain the program at this level, say 5th grade, when we have students who may be reading at a 2nd or a 3rd grade level. So they're going to meet together, and we've done a lot of intensive work with our content specialists from BOCES throughout the year. They've met at least once a month with the content specialists specifically to talk about that. We're giving them some time to really revamp their curriculum so that the students come out with the same vocabulary and language about reading and understanding what they're reading, but of course at a level that's they're going to understand and be able to read. So that's work that our self-contained teachers are going to be doing, and also to promote vertical alignment. Reading. We've been talking a lot about the ELA program at the high school, the 9 through 12. So one of the things that the teachers came to me specifically and to Bill about was creating a portfolio program. And a little bit, this work has come a little bit as a result of the benchmark assessments that are being done in math and at the elementary and the middle school. But the thought that they get students in ninth grade, and every teacher really struggles with this. The students say, oh no, we've never learned any of this, we've never heard of any of these concepts before. We all know that they've heard of them, we all know that they've shown proficiency. They'd really like to create a portfolio program. 6 through 12, we're going to start with the high school first, and look at specific expectations for this portfolio as they move through high school. And coming off of that is the English 9 curriculum work. In the past, we've had a more general expectation of the themes that students would cover in English 9. What the English department at the high school has decided, they really want to turn that into something that's based on reading like detectives and writing like investigative reporters, which is a key element of the Common Core. And so they're going to use that ninth grade curriculum to look at digital literacy skills, inquiry-based instruction, with the idea of it being like a newsroom. So contributing to the school newspaper, but much more inquiry-based than we've done in the past with ninth grade.
Can I just
Sure.
Going back to the portfolio issue, are those presumably going to be digital portfolios?
They are.
No, so they can theoretically follow them K-12.
Eventually, right. The idea is we're going to start with this, because we're doing so much work with literacy, with Teachers College, reading, and now we're actually starting with writing with the 3 through 5 group. Down at the elementary school, we want them to be very familiar with the expectations of that, but we think that this will lead the high school to, again, a little more vertical alignment than we maybe have had in the past. Highland High School Math Lab. One of the other things I'm going to give you is our Regents results, and looking at our Regents results traditionally, our Algebra 1 scores are not the best. It's probably our least successful group overall. So this year, in talking with the department chair, what we've decided is to introduce a math lab to Algebra 1 for this year. And those students might not be in the math lab the entire year. We're trying to make it, it's always difficult, high school and middle school as well, to move kids out of something once you put them in a high school schedule, but with the idea that they're going to get reinforcement. What we really don't want, though, is this just to be a homework help time. We really would like there to be a curriculum for this math lab so that the teachers that have taught algebra for a while now understand where some of the gaps are. So we'd like that math lab to focus on those gaps more specifically, with the hope that the first time students take the algebra exam, they're successful, rather than having to retake it. And we know, even with the new Every Student Succeeds Act, that our scores on algebra are going to matter for us as a district. There's a little bit of a disconnect between a student getting a 65 and being able to pass and get the credit to graduate, and the expectation from the state that students should be performing at an 80 or above for us to kind of get credit as a district. So we're trying to put some things in to help students do that with their foundational math at the high school.
Is that the same instructor, Sarah, or are we mixing that up a little bit?
It looks like it will be one of the instructors.
Okay.
And first year, we do want to keep, one of the thoughts was with the first year of the lab, we'd like it to be the same teacher who's teaching it so that it's consistent in creating the program. But again, we're
Either
trying.
way, I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
I think we spoke earlier in the year where you know,
That-
that
that
particular
exercise.
item kind of stands out on school meter.
It does. Special education cabinet, that's continuing work that Patrick has done throughout the year to really align practices from K through 12 in special education. PBIS, we do this every single year, every summer, the team getting together and really planning out what they're going to do throughout the school year. Another exciting initiative coming off of the Teachers College work is we're creating a Teachers College book room, it's called, but it's really a Teachers College library for all of the teachers so that we can consolidate the resources, the books that we have, rather than continuing to buy. I mean, the idea with Teachers College is that each classroom has their own library, which is great, but there are also mentor texts and texts that the whole group uses that we don't necessarily have to have a class set for every single classroom. So this will be a place where teachers can come, or as their students grow, switch out your lowest level of reader and add higher ones. So Maura Albertson, the library media specialist at the elementary school, she along with Kathleen and Joel are going to do a lot of work this summer to enter all of the books that we have and eventually will add into our library management system, so that if a teacher does take a group of books into their classroom, we'll know where they are, and other teachers will know where they are, and it really will help us manage that collection and manage our resources better. Dan is continuing to work on his scheduling committee. He can speak more specifically to that. As you know, we are in the process of hiring a new STEM teacher for the high school. We need to give that person time to put together a program, because right now, you know, there's nothing. And then Carol has several different technology type quick sessions that she's going to do with teachers. Some of them specific to our Office 365, really honing our skills in those areas, as well as some other digital applications that can be used in classrooms. So she'll be doing that work. Continuing to work on the next generation math standards. This is the update from Common Core Math and ELA, but specifically looking at math. And then this is also work that Carol has been doing with Maura Albertson to really set up a makerspace in our elementary school library. And a makerspace is an ability, often it has a digital undertone to it, but it's a place in the library where students can really come and explore. It's more inquiry-based, putting things together, taking them apart, and understanding how things work. It really fosters independent thinking and independent working. There's probably a couple of other things that will come up as the summer progresses, but this is the bulk of the work that we'll be doing this summer. And like I said, we looked very closely at our the needs of our LAP plan, our local assistance plan, in supporting students' development in ELA and math. Any questions on any of that?
Just commend you on the top to bottom alignment of the reading program, which is going to be huge. And on top of that, we'll see probably better results within our math, science, any of our other programs.
That is our belief
Yeah.
about that work. I think the thing, and I'm sure Kathleen would echo this, that's most exciting to me is the teachers are very excited about Teachers College at the elementary school, and how it works, and the work that the thinking that they're seeing from their students as they're moving through and becoming more familiar with the program.
Continuity from level to level is huge.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's great, thank you.
Yes,
Sarah,
and
regarding the hire for STEM applications, are you just going to be relying on an individual to create a program, or is there going to be any kind of steering?
we need to get the person in place
Of course.
first and see exactly what area of STEM they come from, whether it's technology-based versus math. But yes, we've already been working with a few of our high school teachers who have been doing that work within their program in both math and science to start. And the idea is it's a full-time position, so it's going to be more than one direction, and that's in my mind.
So I was wondering, administratively, has there been any kind of is there vision as to what yeah,
Well,
skills or
what we've been telling the candidates that we've talked to so far is coding is a primary focus. So we definitely want to, as we go through the program, we want to create a sequence so that students could eventually get to an advanced placement computer science kind of program. But of course, being the first year, you know, we need to start with where we are. Yes. But I'd also like to pull in the robotics, and I'd also like to really delve into that whole project-based idea that's not so much focused on computer science, but is a little bit more STEM, so the science and math. Yes, absolutely. And what I'd really love too is to start, or to have someone take the VEX robots that I believe, do we have any here? Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's competitions throughout New York State as well as nationally, and I, much like the Science Olympiad idea, I'd really love to start a VEX program here.
There are global competitions where the communities that have already set up and are participating, they actually get points for taking on new districts and mentoring them.
Oh, great.
And I happen to know several in Connecticut that are eager to do that. When we're ready, it requires a bit of corporate sponsorship and that, but I mean, we have some wonderful companies like Zoom Staff that might.
And one thing, they hired a new content specialist at BOCES, I think last year, Carol, Stevie, I don't know Stevie's last name, but Stevie. And he had been doing it in his previous district, and he showed us a map, and somehow the Hudson Valley is a little bit of a desert for this VEX program. It seems to be a little bit more focused on urban areas probably, but we really, there's not a lot here. So I know Ulster BOCES will be very supportive of this as well, because it's part of their long-term vision.
Sarah, do you have a defined list of credentials or certifications for that STEM division?
In the posting,
Do we, I mean?
yes, in the posting, we asked for teachers either science, math, or tech certified. We've interviewed at this point, and we're a little bit in negotiations right now with probably someone who will have a tech background rather than the science and math so much. And we do have a lot of work being done in a couple of our science and math courses, but it looks like maybe it'll be a tech person. It's not an easy position to fill, especially given the vision that we have. And then in the posting, we talked about the fact that they would be creating a program, that it wasn't something where they were.
Act as a liaison between the tech department and the academic department.
Totally fit within HTA contract constraints.
Yes. Yes. The second thing that I wanted to give you is the Regents results. Just an overview. Of course, these aren't the official results because New York State hasn't posted them, but through our, what we have collected, the results. Overall, they look very good. As I already mentioned, Algebra 1 is always something that we'll look at. I do want to point out that when you look at the number of students tested, I did the math, and about 40% of our students who take the Algebra 1 who took the Algebra 1 class are retaking it. Some of them are retaking it simply to get a much higher score. So we had several students that might have gotten an 88 who now have a 95. But we have a large number of students who need it for the Regents credit. So we're going to continue talking and working on that particular issue. Our geometry scores are much better than they have been in the past. I think people are getting a better feeling for what the expectations for the Common Core geometry Regents exam are. You start to have fewer students taking some of the exams or specializing a little bit more as they're moving up for Algebra 2. Biology always does well. Chem is the other area that we're looking at as well. We have our advanced ninth graders take chemistry in ninth grade. They do very well. The bulk of our students who are taking chemistry are 10th graders. We're really looking at the connection between the math that they have taken and whether they have enough math to be successful in chemistry in 10th grade. So that's something that we're gonna look more closely at next school year. My biggest thing is I don't want to limit a student from taking a course if they would like to challenge themselves, if they would like to do it. So that's an ongoing conversation actually with the middle school as well as the high school science department. ELA, those are all students who are either retaking the test, are taking ELA, the ELA test as part of their CTE program because they had ELA at Ulster BOCES, or we had a handful of 10th graders who challenged the test at the end of 10th grade. So I did give you down at the bottom there, most of our students take ELA in January, so I did give you the results of the January exam down there at the bottom, so you at least have a better idea. I mean, our students do very well on the ELA Regents exam.
So, I mean, if a student self-identifies that they want to take, they want the challenge of taking the test, do we ever, we just go with that, or do we try to discuss?
Actually, we try to encourage students to take, I mean, we offer it to students if they would like to take it. Generally speaking, the students who choose to do that aren't hurting our scores at all. To do that, New Paltz, all of their 10th graders take the ELA.
But some of that desire could drive some of these other lower numbers, so.
It could.
So-
When I looked at the scores, most of the 10th graders, they did fine. But no, that was surprising. The ELA teachers weren't thrilled, actually, with those results. So, and just one last thing, the global history transition. This is the first year of a new global history test. It has the same structure as the old global history test, except it's only 10th grade material. It used to be both 9th and 10th grade. Our students did very well on it. Next year, the district will have the opportunity to either do the global history transition, so the same test as this year, or do the new global history and geography Regents exam. As a department, they've chosen to do the transition test one more year, so they can see what the new test really looks like, because it's a real redesign. It'll be less multiple choice questions, still 2 essays, but different structure, different kind of multiple choice questions. It's a little bit more based on the AP model, and so our teachers want to see exactly what. We haven't gotten a lot of information from the state. There's only about 2 sample tests that have been released so far, and so we want to see what that looks like a little bit more. Then the following year, U.S. history will also be a new test based on the same structure as the global.
So the state could extend that 10th grade, the transition test to next year?
Yes, interestingly, unlike when the Common Core ELA and Common Core Math came out, students could take both and just take the higher score. The state's not allowing us to do that with this test. The district has to decide if they're going to administer the transition test or they're going to administer the new
I
Common Core
thought they were
test.
discontinuing that after this June.
No, it's one more year.
Sarah, Algebra 1,
That's good, flexibility.
that 67% passing rate, is that indicative of their performance throughout the year? Or
Well,
is it just the
It's
difficulty
a tough
of
number.
that?
One of the things that I'd like to do when our new data person comes on, mid-July, I want her to pull out the scores for our 9th graders who are taking it, 9th graders and the 8th graders who take it as advanced, who are taking it for the first time versus the 40% who are retaking the test. So that we have a better understanding of how it's connecting, because that's a question that I have as well.
And is that historical in previous years, the Algebra 1 having a low passing rate?
It's historical since Common Core. I would say before that our numbers, I kind of came in right around Common Core, so I don't have a real depth of knowledge of what it was before, but I don't remember it being quite so.
Are we providing the additional services?
That's what we're introducing
We
this
are
math
now.
lab for this coming school year.
And we've been able to identify, what is it, the multiple modalities that they're of expressing, that's tripping them up, is it?
I would say that math teachers consistently have said that there's an increase in reading skills that's needed in the new Common Core tests, which I think makes a lot of sense, because reading is the foundation of almost everything that we're doing. So as Tom was saying earlier, really focusing on our literacy K through 12 should help some, but,
Increasing the supervision of the faculty member will assist too.
I think,
School leader
But are we
tells a story.
focusing on those reading skills? Because I've heard that for the last 4 or 5 years, that, you know, and we all know, reading is a big part of the new Common Core math, and are we really focusing on giving them the additional help and
Well, it says
resources?
the reading is detected.
Because
go a
that's-
long way.
Let's look at staff absenteeism in that area too. Sometimes that-
that's also one of the reasons we added the .5 reading teacher at the high school, to try to work with that. We have done a few things in the past, more specifically in special ed education, and focusing on reading to support. So we're working in that direction.
We will never use this as an excuse, but the Algebra 1, that's a statewide, the scores are low across the state. But moving forward, we're never going to say, well, you know, gee, they always do bad on algebra, for lack of a better term. No. We know the scores are low, so what are we gonna do about it? This is what we're gonna do about it. We have the math, we have teachers college, we have a new reading teacher coming in. So.
No, I understand the
continue
scores
to-
are
Making
low
the right
at the
moves.
region
We're
level,
making
but
the
are-
right moves and going in the right direction to give that support, which I agree, we absolutely have to give.
You know, sometimes the test is.
Yeah, if it's indicative of the performance throughout the year. If that's on
Yeah,
the low
I
end, then definitely we need to have some support there. But, I mean, if it wasn't, and it's just the Algebra 1 Regents exam being difficult, you know, throughout the state,
But we have
year
done-
after
You
year.
look at the other math areas, they're doing very well as compared to the county.
But we have done an item analysis and to
Yes,
to interpret where the weaknesses are, and see if there's a correlation.
mhm.
And that's what pops up as the reading issue.
That's one of the things, yes. I mean, there's also fluency in standard skills, addition, subtraction, multiplication, you know.
Right, which,
so
but that's good to know, is that.
And that's, really, this is part of what has generated the work we've done with benchmarks at the elementary
I was just gonna
and
say.
the middle school as well, in the hopes that we can better monitor from unit to unit or from year to year where students are skill-wise. And it can be a tough slog up the hill, and I feel like we're making progress up.
In the reading programs, you have, when those benchmarks are hit, I know you hit certain groups and you identify them and you track them in order to remediate that. Are we doing the same thing with the benchmarks in math now?
We are, and we've always had AIS math, both at the elementary and the middle school. What we really have struggled with, and I think I've shared this at the board at various times, is finding a diagnostic that works as well as reading. And I don't understand exactly why it's more difficult to get that. All of the diagnostics we have used pinpoint some different aspects of math, but
I wonder about that base, that's what made me think when you mentioned the base skills, if we utilize the acquisition of those base skills as benchmarks, and then
Right.
track it the same way you do the reading, and so that we know that if they haven't gone to this level, that we need to continue to, so that they don't get to this point without having those base skills.
and that's part of what that benchmark, what we're trying to do with that.
I just want to add, we've now done our first full year of benchmarks at the middle school, and we did our first year of the STAR reading program, and one of the things we're doing is lining up the benchmarks with the kids with their reading scores, so we can have that crossover to see where the reading is. And also all the work that Chris Parker has done in the middle school, much of it has been with our math teachers on closed reading activities, so you can analyze what is, and think about what that question is asking you to do.
But weren't you developing your own math benchmark system in the middle school?
That's what we've done.
Okay, and I
That's
think-
what that is.
I think
That's-
Sue Gilmore had asked about what were the results of that. We never saw any.
I have them now compiled, I just,
Snapshot
yeah,
report.
just have them, so I can get them in and go over them with you.
So, yeah, so this is the first year with those at the middle school, so, you know, again, have a baseline.
Reinforcement and continuity at the lower levels is huge, and it's gonna take a while for them to trickle up.
Mhm.
But that's huge.
Well, and that's why I'm anxiously awaiting, the 3 through 8 results are expected in early August. We got them earlier last year, but the state has said it's back to being in August, so, I'm anxious to get those to see.
Say it's refreshing to speak for more than a few minutes on student learning.
Yes.
So often we're talking about other matters.
I can talk about this all day.
I think
That's what we're here for.
It is in the end.
Sarah, not to beat the horse dead at this point, but as far as you're saying, having a hard time finding a useful tool, a diagnostic tool, there must be something best practices surrounding it. Have we been able to identify a successful district?
We've tried different things that we've used M-Class, we've used, what's the
We
one?
did, we tried the BOCES program one time where they had all of that information, I don't remember the name of it, but it really
Right.
was not what we thought it was gonna be.
MobiMax, that was the one I was thinking, and I mean, yeah, we still
MobiMax.
use some of these. It's more of a, you know, MobiMax isolates this kind of problem. M-Class isolates this sort of problem, so of course, we're trying to find this kind of the holy grail of, you know, what's the one we can use that's going to pinpoint what we do. And the biggest frustration that I've heard about MobiMax is that if a student doesn't do well on one discrete skill, it might keep a 7th grader at what it labels as a 2nd grade level, and the students get quite discouraged by that.
Well, I know it throws you into a sub-loop. If you're missing a skill, it'll throw you into a subset of skills.
Yes, but it's not sophisticated enough to then ask another question that bumps them back up
Right.
to it, so it's very skill-based. So that's one of the things that the students, especially the middle school students, don't want to continue or then start to not take it seriously because they don't feel good about what it looks like in the end. So we use it, but it's trying to find how else we supplement it so that they, need to build confidence in math. I'm a great person for that because I never really had any. And so I'm better now, but it definitely colored how I did math throughout my math career.
How active is the teacher engagement with MobiMax? I mean, if it was sent over to a teacher, a student is stuck in an area?
Usually what we do is it's more of a center-based thing, so a student might be working on MobiMax while the teacher is doing more specific work with a smaller group in specific skills. So, there is some, yes, this teacher is using the MobiMax data to try to put them into these smaller groups so that they can bump them, to the next level.
Obviously, it's probably not in the program, but if there's a large system with a student stuck in there, that might alleviate what you're saying, the discouragement and frustration.
Yes, and it's not quite that sophisticated. We're not getting that kind of data. There are some programs out there, some of them are quite expensive.
We have been looking for a better program.
We have.
Every time we go out and look at one, we're like, oh, that's just gonna cause us a problem in this area. And we haven't found the program to do
Well, that's why
that.
it's best practices. I'm wondering, there must be a district out there that has something successful in place.
And I do think ultimately a best practice is always going to be using a diagnostic, but then the professional doing the hard work
Yeah, you're
to
always
make
gonna
sure the
have
student,
the
it's always going to be a
instructional
mix.
models there.
What about the maps, the NWEA maps? That gives it a pretty good,
And that's a little bit with the STAR with reading, and way back, and this was a little bit before me, when we chose our SLOs and did the work, there was not support for using those kinds of tests within the district. So I think we're in a little bit better place or different place now, even with the ABPR system. So we may look at that again. But there just hadn't been a tradition of it or a history of it here, and there was a lot of pushback about any sort of standardized approach. I think a lot of districts that were able to use it already had it in place, and so it was just something that kids did. So again, I think even just the STAR, which is the same type of test, that was a big move.
It was a big move.
For the teachers actually to come to us and say that they wanted that.
Anybody else? Is that it, Sam?
I'm good with mine.
Thank you. Tom?
Thank you, Stan. Yes, Mr. President, Board of Ed, though I keep trying to convince myself that, believe it or not, so I'm entering my 31st year in education, and I keep convincing myself, boy, I don't look that old. So it's not my first rodeo. I've seen many districts in the state and the county, and the successful districts, the districts that continue to move forward, it starts at the top. It starts with a good Board of Education who is concerned, has a genuine concern for students' education, and is willing to give support while certainly doing the oversight for the school district to move forward. So again, I'd like to congratulate Mike and Ed and thank them for running again for the Board of Ed. I'd like to welcome Camille to the Board of Education. You know, I know we all have very busy lives, including you, and then to take that very busy life and then to add in the responsibilities, the time, the stress of being on the Board of Education, it's a lot to take on. You're always, you're like a doctor, like me, you're always on call, you're always the member of the Board of Ed. So just because we leave a board meeting, you know, I am aware that you are shopping at the store, the food market, the mall, whatever. You know, you get approached by people with good, bad, and indifferent information. So you're always on call, so thank you for that. But really, that's where the leadership starts. When I've seen it, you've seen it, and you know of it. Districts that have boards of ed that are dysfunctional, when they have members who have their own personal agendas, it holds the district back. So thank you. Ending the year, this is a time of endings and new beginnings. So back to my social studies roots, Eleanor Roosevelt said, with the new day comes new strength and new thoughts. That's the great thing. I will continue to say this every year. The unique thing about education, different than just about any other occupation, there's an ending and then a new beginning. No other job really has that, where you actually stop one and then you start again, to refresh, to re-energize, to reinvigorate. So just ending the year, the moving up ceremonies. Mr. Freer, Mrs. Sickles did a fantastic job moving up ceremony for 5th grade. The 8th grade moving up ceremony, Mr. Westland, Mr. Connors, incredible job, great evenings. And of course, culminating with graduation. Again, you know, we look at these numbers, we want the numbers to be better, absolutely, on all those regions and stands, but at the end of the day, you know, we're going to keep it up there. We have a 95% graduation rate. We have the highest grad rate in Ulster County, and that's a testament to every employee in the district. So Mr. Zimmer, Mr. Judge, also certainly involved in the graduation. I know Mary Ann, Val, and Denise. Now at the same time, none of these events happen without the incredible support of Maria McCarthy and the food service, Pete Miller and B&G, Carol Potash, and you know, and the sound, the filming, you know, all the technical support. It's a team effort. Any successful organization, it's a team effort. It's not any one particular person. So I just want to thank everyone for a great year. Two things I ask myself every year, and this is I think it's a spoiler alert, so that the answer to these questions are yes. So I ask, are we a better district than we were a year ago? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I believe we are. Can we take what we have and continue to make it better? Yes, and we will. That's our goal. I tell the principals, I tell teachers, that's why you have the beginning, the end and the beginning. You have the advantage. Take what you did last year, make it better. So we certainly have that. Sarah talked about some of these things, but just the new initiatives that we have to look forward to in the 18-19 school year include, but not limited to, increased security. So we're working on that now. We posted those positions. We're going to have increased security in the district. Sarah talked about the STEM program at the high school. Very exciting, long needed, but now we're moving forward. Continuing the Teachers College reading program. at the elementary school. We're finishing up a $17 million project, and we're going to be starting a new project, the $8 million project. We have certainly new people in key positions, including Kathy McCullough, who's here, running our transportation department, working cooperatively and collectively with the drivers, with the support staff there. Karen Brooks, our new data coordinator, starts July 16th. Lisa Gillette, we've just hired her tonight, she'll start October 1st in the business office. So the team is ready to continue to move Highland forward. The future is very bright. I'm proud to say that, I'm proud to be a part of that. On another note, again, in moving forward, so the Support Services Committee met last week to talk about the $8 million project and the need for a construction manager for that project. So now that we have hired our new attorneys, in addition to reviewing different contracts that we have, they will be given the task, we're going to put out, the Support Services Committee recommends to the board that we put out an RFP for a construction manager for that new project. And we'll get the new attorneys on that so that we can get rolling with that by, beginning of September.
Didn't we do that didn't we do that?
I think we were waiting for the Sports Service Committee to make that recommendation.
Okay.
No, we haven't moved on that yet. So we talked a little bit about it, the board, I think at a previous meeting, we said the support services would meet, because the board really didn't make a decision, so we said, well, the support service will meet, we'll discuss it, we'll make a recommendation to the board. Okay? So that's what we're doing. I know it's a little later, under new business, but, in the past, I know, not every summer, but there is a board retreat that we you sometimes do. I think that would be a great thing to, again, to kind of reinvigorate and kind of set goals for the next year. So have a board retreat, and I think that's the next item. But again, great things are happening at Highland. I'm very proud to be a part of it, and like I said, we have a lot of great things to look forward to in the future. So thank you.
Any questions for the superintendent? Okay, we'll move on. Board of Education, new business, board retreat, discussion. We've had board retreats in the past. We've had them sporadically throughout the year. What's your thoughts on entertaining a board retreat this summer? I know with vacations and with everything going on, might make it difficult.
Well, what I was gonna say is, are both of those August meetings needed for action, or can we sequester the first one in August possibly? I don't know if everybody's gonna be here.
I know Heather will be at that first meeting.
And we'll probably have a few appointments that will be coming that we didn't get for this one. That would probably be
Yes,
good
we
to
only
do
have
that.
one July meeting, this is it. We're going to August 7th at 5 p.m. So
We have a few teachers that, if we can get them done then, we can start the year.
maybe towards the end of August, everybody's back from vacation and we can get everyone together.
I just really spitballing here, but if we were to coordinate it with the teacher's return again, prior when they come in for superintendent's conference, and in the year if we were correlated, the board as a whole might be able to visit the teachers during that opening prior to student arrival. Just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open for suggestions.
Right, and
as
you
far as
have
retreat.
you have that second meeting on the 28th, the meeting starts at 6, so presumably that meeting would probably be most likely appointments, and then you could meet after that, a couple hours. We could either come up with topics of our own, you could bring in someone from New York State School Boards, just to do a refresher course on board, being a board member. And or we could wait till September and maybe do something,
It just gets crazy.
It does.
I got 3 kids in each building.
Yeah, it
it's
does.
just,
it does get busy, yeah. I understand.
Ideally before school starts.
Yes,
or,
okay.
maybe a
So let's look at that, second meeting in August, the 28th, it's 6
That'd be-
o'clock, no, 5
A
o'clock.
breakout,
That's
like
the 6
what,
That's
o'clock
the 6
start.
o'clock start.
2 or 3 hours?
Yeah.
Right.
We, like you said, we'll have some appointments, but we could start the meeting and then go right into, do our business session and go right into a board retreat at that point in time. The other thing, I think we've done it in the past, a roundtable discussion with our administrators and our assistant administrators, you know, to kind of just
Well, that's not like a time.
just have some
feedback.
open discussion,
Mhm.
feedback. And again, I always encourage staff to come to our meetings, and if there's reason not coming because they feel, you know, they're gonna be out in the open here and not want to voice their opinions, I suggest, you know, some open discussion with them at a roundtable kind of conversation.
I think between now and then, we should throw out what some topics, we could do a lot of different things at
Right.
retreats, what do we want of
Right,
that?
what do you
particular
want?
retreat?
You want board training, you want to talk to administration, you want to brainstorm on kind of your thoughts in the future and, you know, the direction you want us to go in.
Yes.
Maybe look at board goals for the
All right.
upcoming year.
So we'll look at the the second meeting in August to set something up.
Great.
Okay, electronic use policy 5651, the first reading. I don't think this has been
Yeah,
vetted
but,
by our legal counsel, and we have a
Well-
new set of eyes, so maybe,
yeah, it was in 2013, and we went to, Carol needed it for the tech plan, and when she went in, it was not the updated one, and then when we looked back, we couldn't find that it had ever been finally approved. We've done a first and second reading of it, I believe, but we never finally approved it, so we decided to put it out as a first reading again. I mean, it was supposed to be, it was the anticipated
I mean, it's
adoption
similar
was
to what it was before, I'm
It's
familiar with this stuff.
2013.
yeah, I think there was some concerns, I think we talked about that why we
At that
probably didn't go
time.
to adoption, we had some concerns in it where they were never really addressed, or we
Okay.
just kind of moved on. I'm, you know, looking at it in my comment, you know, in the second paragraph, where electronic devices are to be used in accordance with each school's behavior management protocol and the academic expectations of the area. I like to have that defined a little better, because it was kind of, perfect. You know, there are some questions, and I think a new set of eyes from the legal end to look at it.
I
because
remember this discussion.
This is a
It's
state.
We had a lot
allowing
of
a lot,
discussion.
it's
We had a
allowing
lot
a
of
lot, it's allowing
discussion.
every student to bring any possible device into the building. And I think some of the devices we should be providing to each student.
I agree.
But they're still gonna bring their own.
The other concern is.
Well, I mean, that's
Well,
what the
managing
policy
equal
can.
position, that in some environments, they can, the students they don't mind students using the devices because they in fact handle them responsibly and they're not disruptive, and others they may be disruptive. I know, we touched on this in another meeting, that the data seems to be coming back that cell phone usage in the classroom is becoming a significant disruptor and is affecting, and it was, I think only this past year they had the data was pointing to the fact that it was significantly driving down student retention and student performance. I don't think that's something we can take action on right now, but I think it's something we should definitely be aware of and we should continue to examine. I know when, in terms of
We have a
this-
whole month now to our next meeting for our second meeting, so hopefully, legal, a new set of eyes on it can look at it and some discussion within. Okay, next is the legal services. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, hereby awards a contract for legal services as set forth in the district's request for proposal, RFP dated April 9, 2018, to Thomas, Drowan, Waxman, Pettigrew, and Maley, LLP, in accordance with the response by TDWPM to the RFP dated May 3, 2018, as supplemented by TDWPM's letter of June 15, 2018. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Tom, second by Ed. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. The second, this resolution is to supplement the reorg where we had to be determined on our appointment of the school attorney. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, approves the following appointment as school attorney as presented to the board at this meeting. Thomas Joan Waxman, Pettigrew, and Maley, LLP. Have a motion, please? Motion by Camille, second by Tom. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So carried. Bus borrowing, bond resolution. Bond resolution as presented to the board at this meeting dated July 2nd, 2018. The Board of Education of Hyannis Central School District authorizing not to exceed $588,000 aggregate principal amount of serial generation obligation bonds to finance the purchase of school buses, vans, vehicles, and related safety and communication equipment at an estimated maximum cost of $588,000. Levy of tax in annual installments and payment thereof, the expenditure of such sum for the purpose of determining other matters in connection therewith. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Mike, second by Ed.
And at this point, I will do a roll call.
Any
Okay.
discussion first? Good.
No.
Roll call,
All
Lisa?
part of the budget process.
Okay. I'll state your name, just say A or nay. Camille?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Mike Bakaxias?
Aye.
Tom Miller?
Aye.
Alan Barone?
Aye.
Okay. That is all 5-0 approved. Motion carried.
Okay. Budget transfer. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the following budget transfer as presented to the board at this meeting. Budget transfer number 11711, $187,189.23. Budget transfer 11712, $40,000. Budget transfer number 11994, $25,597.12. Budget transfer 11985 for $21,000. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion by Mike, second by Camille. Discussion?
Typical end of the year transfers.
Yes.
I know how this works.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Old business meal charging policy 5630, second reading. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the following Board of Education titled Meal Charging Policy number 5630 as presented to the board at this meeting. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Mike, second by Ed. Discussion?
Just as a requirement, I think, of most of the state now, right? Meal charging, no meal
Yes.
shaming policy.
Correct. Marie, did you have anything that you needed to add to this, or no?
No,
You don't have
we use the state template, which most of the other districts are
Yeah,
using,
we'll
and
start there.
plugged in a little bit of our own thoughts, and
Great,
we're in compliance.
thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All those in favor?
Right.
Opposed? So carried. Anything for the good and welfare of the district?
Just wanna, and we'll probably talk about it at our retreat, but try to get our policies updated. At one point, we had Erie One review all those. I would ask Mr. Bon Jovi to take a look at what that service will be, to again examine that and see if we can create a schedule over the course of the year that gets all of our policies at either 18 or 19 approval date.
Anyone else?
Looking at, towards that, if the board retreats first prior to the staff coming back. But somewhere during the year, I would like to have some kind of a survey go out to the staff so they can understand the assessment of the board and where they'd like the board to be moving. So we get some feedback going that way.
You know, that'd be a good question for school boards too. I bet you they have stuff like that. I mean, it's a staff survey of how we're doing, or?
Yeah, I'd like some, like you said, the public gives us feedback directly, but I think the teachers may hesitate to give us feedback because of the obvious power relationship. It'd be nice to have an anonymous method where they can give honest feedback to the board where they like to see the direction of the board.
Okay.
Just as a note, note on that, I mean, one of the requirements of the Every Student Succeeds Act is that we will be sending, down the line, there will be some community surveys that are going to be will be going out to parents.
That'd be great. I just wanted to increase the communication.
Yeah, they won't be specific to the Board of Education, it'll be more general.
Anything else? Open the meeting up to public comment? No public comment?
Employees now.
No executive session necessary.
Thank you for coming.
Okay. Yeah, I want to thank everyone coming out at 9 a.m. and enjoy the rest of the summer, over the summer.
Thanks, Scott.
Motion to adjourn. Motion by Mike, second by Ed.
Yeah.